Okay, good morning. I know we're a small group today. I'm still going to use the microphone because we're recording, so we want to make sure that it captures everything. So a little bit more formal for a small group, but so good morning. Thank you all for coming. I am Amber Storia with Mavericks Community Foundation. This session is something we're calling kind of our deep dive. We haven't offered this session before, so it's an optional session. It's really geared towards organizations who are new to participating in Coastside Gives, and so that we can help walk you through building out your profile on the platform a little bit more. Of course, anybody is welcome. So new organizations who might have a new point person leading their campaign this year, which is a common thing. Since many of you guys are all volunteer organizations, that person turns over regularly. So that's kind of what we are going to go through today. We are happy to answer questions along the way. So we want it to be helpful for you, and really the feedback that we have been given about all of the Coastside Gives sessions is one of the most helpful parts is the interaction around questions, right? People asking different questions and then hearing the answers. So this session is being recorded, and the slides we will post on our website along with the recording afterwards. They'll be available in the toolkit for you guys to reference, as are the slides in the video from the kickoff, and that will continue to be the case for all of the sessions that we have for Coastside Gives. So those will be on the website for the life of the campaign. So anybody who needs to refer back, you can access them there, or anybody who couldn't attend today can also jump on and review the information. So along with me today is Brianne. She's our Coastside Gives coordinator, so many of you have probably already had interactions with her. She is kind of the go-to person for all things Coastside Gives. When you guys have questions, you can email her at that coordinator at maverickscommunityfoundation.org. Also in the back, we have Paige, who is one of our board members. Thank you for being here today. So we are going to jump in. Just a little bit about what we're going to cover. Just a little bit of an overview on Giving Day. We always do this. It's a reminder for people. Some information about building your profile. We are going to do some reminders about compliance, which is important for organizations to stay in compliance throughout the life of the campaign. And then just a reminder on important dates and what's coming up for the rest of the Coastside Gives campaign. Brianne, who I already introduced, of course, and her email address. She is more than happy to support you guys with any questions around the platform, around the campaign, around whatever might come up. So just a little bit about how a Giving Day works. Hopefully all of you are kind of aware of this because you sat through our kickoff meeting and you may have had experience of Coastside Gives in one way or another throughout the community, right? We work collectively. Mavericks Community Foundation is engaging sponsorship and donors in support of Coastside Gives. The collective awareness, right? We try and really lean into collaborative marketing and getting the word out about Coastside Gives. There will be advertising opportunities, so of course the giving guide, which that deadline has passed, but that's a great one since it's mailed out to over 13,000 residents here on the coastside. And then we are also partnering with KHMB Radio again this year, so we will share more information about that as we get further into the campaign, but every organization will have an opportunity to sign up for a time slot for an interview on the radio on Gives Day to kind of promote your organization and what your goals are. So that's always a wonderful partnership. Social media and we'll talk about this a little bit. For new organizations, sometimes we have organizations say we don't have a presence on social media, right? We're not on social media yet. So we would highly recommend that if you're not on social media, now's the time to start getting on social media. So we would recommend starting a presence on Instagram and probably Facebook, both of those, to help start gaining some traction and some visibility for your organization in those places. There is a lot of power to social media, and especially around Coastside Gives, there's a lot of power around visibility in social media. And it's a good way to just start somewhere for your organization with social media and then be able to carry that forward after Coastside Gives and sort of having that presence available. Bonus dollars, Mavericks Community Foundation, when we engage with sponsors, we also give out incentive dollars, prize grant dollars, which we'll get to in our prize meeting to help incentivize some of the donors that you guys will be going off of, and to just kind of, it creates buzz around the event. It gives you all something to talk about if you decide you're going to go after a specific prize. Sometimes we have a prize for early morning donor, right? The organization that has the donation first thing in the morning might get X amount of dollars, right? And so then it gives you something to talk to your donors about. Hey, we're going after this early riser prize. If any of you are like super morning people and up real early, try and get a donation in for us, and some of those kinds of things. It helps create buzz and provides you guys some talking points. We always like to say this, a successful Giving Day campaign is built over time, right? It's not waiting all until the day before Gives Day to then try and rush out and share information about what you're doing and who you are. And we also like to say it's executed by a team and not an individual. So think about who you have within your organization that you can use as team members, even just as thought partners. That could look like other staff, it could look like fellow volunteers, it could look like past donors. And then, of course, we are always available as thought partners and to be part of your team also. We're happy to talk through ideas or different approaches, whatever you think you might need help sort of fleshing out around Coastside Gives, we're happy to do that with you. Tips for success, this is kind of some of the same thing you guys have already heard. One thing we're going to cover today is about building your profile on the platform for your organization. Another thing is really about setting a realistic campaign goal. We find this to be really important, especially with organizations who are participating in Coastside Gives for the first time. So it's nice to be like, we're going to raise $100,000, our goal is $100,000, but if that's not realistically attainable for your organization, it's going to probably feel defeating. So we really encourage organizations to be thoughtful around what a realistic campaign goal might look like, something that feels doable, something that feels achievable. And we encourage you to talk about this with your board, with your teammates, to kind of get a sense of what feels doable. And then we also like to say, pick and choose the elements that are right for your organization. So we're going to present a number of tools and things that you can opt into over the life of Coastside Gives. We don't expect any one organization to opt into all of them, right? These are all tools that are available to you. They're avenues that some organizations take, but it really is encouraged that you be thoughtful about picking and choosing the ones that feel right for you guys, for your organization, as you're doing this, especially if it's early days, your first year or your first 1 or 2 years participating in Coastside Gives. So, from here we're going to jump into some information about the Mighty Cause platform. Mighty Cause is the platform that we use to operate Coastside Gives. You guys have all hopefully been on there by now. You've had to register, so you've been on there by now. But it's also where your profile lives, right? It's where the information about your organization connected to Coastside Gives lives. And so this next part is going to be kind of about building out that profile and ways you can do that and things you can add. We think that the platform itself is fairly intuitive. We have worked with other platforms in the past, and this one is significantly better than what we used to have. One of the great things about the Mighty Cause platform is it does live editing. So anytime you're editing your profile and you're seeing what that looks like as you're making your edits, that's what it's going to look like, which is really super helpful, right? As you are adding things and creating your story, to know that what you're looking at while you're doing it is what it's going to look like. So lean into that. It's also easy to edit, and it's also easy to correct a mistake because of that live editing. Brianne's gonna take over here in a minute. Another thing that we recommend too is that when you have time, you go on the website and you peruse what other nonprofit profiles look like. We always encourage collaborating with each other and learning from each other, right? So you might go on there and look at a couple of different profiles from other organizations and go, oh, that's a really cute idea. They put up a little video, thanking their donors or whatever that might look like. That can be really helpful, just to get an idea. Registration, you guys already registered, so you're ahead of the game, but these slides are going to live on our website, so we leave that one here.
Okay, can you guys hear me? All right, so we're going to start with navigating your dashboard. So basically the dashboard, like she had said, is your organizational page where the public can come and read about your organization, find out what you guys are fundraising for and all of that kind of stuff. So you want to give an overview. Your key fundraising metrics will be, your organizational page is actually the page that you log into. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Organizational page is the page that you log into and you see on your side. At the top, there's going to be a little link that says to-do list. That is the to-do list that the page has created for you. So if there's a section that's not filled out or needs to be filled out, it'll be in that little to-do list. So if you click it, these hyperlinks will show up and you can click on any of them and fill that information in. So I would start there for sure. You're going to be able to access your key fundraising metrics, your registration status, your campaign announcements. If we have an announcement that we need to send to all organizations, we can do it there. There's the to-do list that I explained. And so go in soon and try and finish that organizational page in the to-do list.
Where does the to-do list show up? I'm sorry, on that.
It's going to be when you log into the page and it says organizational page, there's a little link that says to-do list.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's up at the top. Fundraising. You're going to manage all your fundraising efforts for your nonprofit. You're going to be able to access your reports. You're going to be able to customize your checkout, and then any of the settings for the admin to be able to access or adjust any of your information is all found on the organizational part of the page.
We can make edits as we go along.
Yes,
Yeah.
always make edits. It's very user-friendly, so anytime you need to make edits, yeah.
So edits are available throughout the whole campaign, including Gives Day, right? So you want to throw something up there, an announcement, an updated picture, it goes throughout the entire life of the campaign.
On that organizational page, you're going to be able to customize your profile. This page will be the main link that you share with your supporters. You want to make sure that it feels like your organization, that you're putting the information up there that really tells the story of why you guys are here. And the donors will have access to see any of the information that you do put there, and like she said, you can edit it, change it, add it for the life of the campaign. All of these, if you see the blue hyperlinks, those are all things that you can edit. You just click on the little pencil and it'll bring up what you can and can't do. The top image is called the banner image. You can also change that to your profile for your organization. You can change the theme, you can change the color, you can upload your photo, you can do so many things. This is so customizable to however you want it to feel. So just play around with it and see what you like and see what you don't like.
Question, on the changing the color, where does that change the color on the page?
I believe it's gonna be, I don't think it's a background color, I think it's like more font and like any of the
Okay.
information that you put in.
So it'll change the color, that's a great question, just to repeat for everybody can hear, like when you choose a color theme, right, for your page. So it might change the color of the buttons, right, where it says donate here, or where it's tracking the number of donations you guys have received. This is really important, we really do encourage you guys. Your logo will be on there automatically already from registration. But if you're a returning organization, your page is going to reflect whatever you had on there last year. So you'll want to go in and make updates, right? You might have things that you want to change. If you're a new organization, it's going to be pretty blank, pretty vanilla and generic. And so this is where you do, like Brianne said, you really want to customize it and make sure it's reflective of your organization. If you have colors that you also want to reflect in your logo, the banner image, whatever that might be, to reflect the work you all are doing. Because it's one of those things that when donors get to that page, you want them to recognize it as part of your brand, right? Something that connects with what they would have seen of your organization out in the world and other places.
As a user, like as a giver or donor, do you think that it's wise to like do a refresh, rebranding for your organization? Do you think that would confuse the end user, or do you think that's like a wise refresh?
So that's a great question. I'm just going to repeat because I want it to be able to hear on the recording. So the question was, as a donor, like, would we recommend doing a full refresh or rebranding of your page? Are there concerns about donors then not recognizing you, or how is that perceived by donors? So this is what I would say. If you have an updated logo, hopefully you would have already submitted that updated logo to us as part of your registration. If for some reason your logo changes during the course of the campaign, right, your organization's going through a rebrand or something and your new logo's coming out in March, you can edit it in here, right? So I would make sure you want your logo to be current. That's a hard question, Julie, because it really depends on how that refresh is being rolled out to your organization, to your donors in general, right? Like, if you were really launching a new logo and a whole new look and that kind of thing, then I would expect maybe the organization is doing more around rolling that out than just having it appear on the Coastside Gives page. So if that were the case, then yes, you want your Coastside Gives page to match that new look, if the timing is correct, right? I mean, if you're rolling out a new look in September, then probably changing everything for May doesn't make sense. So it would depend on timing. Your organization name will still be there. They will still be able to search you by organization name. I would say just make sure that the elements you are putting on here, if you are doing a full refresh like that, reflect what your organization is doing, right? You're still sharing your mission statement. Maybe you're saying something like, Beach Break Entertainment, we have a new look, but we're still focused on the same things we always were, or whatever that looks like, just to add the context for any donor that might see that.
Thank you.
2 questions. One is, I'm assuming that when you, like if you're uploading a new banner photo, it will give you the specs so that you're not trying to put a vertical picture in a horizontal banner. That's one question. The second question is, you mentioned it's live edit. So if the two of us are working on it at the same time, we can each put it in and it doesn't go live until you hit save, is that right?
So correct, so you're gonna see, so yes, if you're trying to drop a new banner image in there, it's gonna give you a little bit, when you click on that part to add the image, it's gonna give you a little bit of context, right? It's also gonna show you immediately, if you try and upload the photo, what it's gonna look like, and so then you're like, this is cutting everybody's heads off, this isn't the right one for us, or whatever that might look like, right? I would be a little cautious about having multiple people edit simultaneously. You know, the system isn't gonna automatically stop that. It might get a little bit confused and you might not end up with exactly what you're hoping for. So I would suggest if you have multiple admins that you be in communication with each other and just let each other know, you know, hey, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make some edits this afternoon and I'll send you a text when I'm done. You can check them out and then do what you have to
It
do.
doesn't go live until you probably hit enter or save, right?
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
that was really
So yes, when you hit save. And even if you do accidentally hit save and you're like, oh, that's not how I wanted it to look, it's very easy then to just click back in and continue to edit.
Thank you.
Yes?
It's going backwards just a little bit, but this prompted my thought. Do you have any tools, templates, or other things to help with what we might put on social media? Or
Yes, so we will be adding to the toolkit some sort of preset things that can be used on social media. They're primarily going to be graphics that are about Coastside Gives in general, right? So things that will be formatted for Facebook or Instagram that you can use to like announce that you're participating in the campaign, that sort of thing. So we usually get those into the toolkit in March, so that will be coming up, and then we'll send a notification to everybody when they're there, available for you guys to grab.
But also when it comes to like the social media challenges and things like that, anything that you'll need for those challenges, for the incentives and things like that, all that information is going to be given to you as well, but not till after the prize meeting, to find out the time.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything else? All right. The next part is the page metrics, and once you get into Gives Day, the admins are going to become very familiar with all of these, but you need to be able to decide which ones you want displayed to the public and which ones you don't. If you've participated in the past, there's going to be some metrics that are related to what you've done in the past, but you want to make sure that you update the metrics to what you want your clientele to show, or your clientele, your donors to see. For returning nonprofits, you're going to set the start calculation option to January 1st, 2026 to view the stats for 2026. So you'll learn more getting into the Gives Day about your organization may like come to you as the admin and be like, hey, I want to know how we're doing, or you want to check on donations and things like that. You're going to see a lot of those in the page metrics, but we can always help you find things to do that. Any questions?
And also to be clear, these page metrics, you guys will set them, but they will not show up until, like publicly, they're not gonna start counting until early giving opens on April 1st, right? Right now, the platform is there and available for the public to visit and see and view profiles, but we're not accepting any donations. So it's just you guys have some ability to customize what you want to see. If you want to see the number of donors, if you want to see the amounts raised when the donations are coming through on that front page.
Sorry, so if it's our first time, we don't need to reset the year. It's all
Correct.
Correct. Right. If you're a returning nonprofit, you'd want to reset the year so you see what's officially for this Gives Day. All right. So this is going to be the section where you are able to tell your story. you will be able to live update like she had said. You can format it, you can add whatever information, you can add images, you can add videos, you can add tabs, you can add a bunch of stuff, just to make it your story. When Julie had asked the question about rebranding and if you change a lot of this information, will people notice or if it will confuse them? I feel like this is like the best place because there's donors that are gonna go on this page that have never heard of a lot of the nonprofits, and so this is your chance to kind of sell them on what you're all about. So I would make it as personal as possible, give them as much information as possible, maybe not like a 12-page, information, but give them enough information, like, hey, I want more information about that.
Oh, that you kind of hit my question, which was, is there any limits, either suggested limits or physical limits to, because we have like some video, we have some graphs. We can do that kind of stuff.
You can add videos, you can add pictures, you can add graphs. It's not really gonna, I haven't ever had an organization hit a limit. So I guess I don't know for sure if there is a limit in the profile. What it is gonna do though, is if you keep everything just in one tab, then people are gonna be scrolling down. So you wanna think about that too.
So you can't add tabs.
You can add tabs. So up at the top where that says custom tab, you can click there. And that's where you would be able to add another tab. So you might have a tab that has the first tab, the public facing page will always go to that about one default first. You might have a second tab that is highlighting a very specific program you're doing, right? Like you might have a program specifically geared towards youth scholarships, and maybe you're gonna add that information, some more detailed information about that particular program on that second tab. So you can continue to add custom tabs. This is where it's helpful to go on to the website and look at some of the other profiles that are on there, because you will see a little bit about how people use tabs. We also always suggest that when you're thinking about what your campaign goals are, donors respond to something tangible, right? So if you can pick a specific program or a specific initiative that you're trying to raise money for, that tends to resonate with donors more than just a general ask, right? And so this is also where you can share information about your organization overall, but then also highlight any program or initiative that you might be focusing your Coastside Gives campaign on.
This is too nitty-gritty, but I went in, I set up the basics, and when I tried to add photos, they only, there wasn't the flexibility to embed them in text or something like that, but I looked at other people's pages from last year, and they did, and I could not figure out how to have wrap text so I'm just wondering, I'm not asking for a tutorial now, but is there a time to do that? Should I just email you?
If you saw someone do it last year, then it's definitely possible. And I would love to learn that with you.
Oh, okay, so probably.
So contact me on email and I'll walk through it with you.
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
There is the ability to add, I'm thinking there is the ability to add some sections here, and so perhaps they added a section that allowed them to put photos up higher or whatever. But absolutely, if you come across something like that and you're like, hey, I'm looking at Coastside Help's profile and they've got this stream of pictures in the middle of their about page and I can't figure out how to replicate that on our page, send that question over to us. We will help you figure that out if you come across something like that.
Because I'm also thinking possibly they might have created it in a PDF format and then just
embedded
put
it.
the PDF there.
Yeah, the workaround.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be ways to do it, but I will find that answer out for you for sure.
You literally just put the cursor and click add photo or add image. And then you just put the cursor where you want the picture to go
Yeah.
and click the picture, like the image, and it puts it where you want it to go.
I could do that, I couldn't get the text to wrap.
There's another wrap in there, I'll show you the button.
So there
I
should
found the
be,
button, I just couldn't get it to work, yeah, so,
Yeah.
but I will find you.
yeah, so if you come across that, so it should be, all of the editing tools are pretty similar to like what you would see in Google or Outlook, that kind of thing. But if you come across something like that, where you're like, look, I've done this 100 times, it is not wrapping the text, you can reach out to us if it's not something that we can help solve, because we can also log into your profile pages from the back end, right? If it's not something that Brian can figure out or we can figure out, then we can connect you with Mighty Cause support to get it figured out.
For general, hope I'm not getting ahead here, but for general layout of the page, if you add photos and videos at the bottom, say, is there a way to preview it where you can see what the page will look like and then change sections? Like say you wanted the photos above the needs or the needs above the
Move the
heading.
sections up and down.
Mhm.
You should have some flexibility within there to move sections, to shuffle them up or down.
In there so far, I haven't been able to shuffle anything up and down.
Okay.
Like it just kind of lets you edit it where it is, and like it doesn't let you move anything,
Okay.
as
So-
far as I've seen.
Okay, we will look at that. So some of that is, it will allow you to add sections. The shuffling of the sections may be a little bit more limited. We can find out from Mighty Cause the best way to shuffle sections, if there is that flexibility, and then we can send that information out.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because I know on the other side, it's blocking and you just add the block above or below, so I think that there's definitely a way to do it, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, and then also, is there a preview or do you have to log out?
You don't log out, it's live editing, so as soon as you hit save, you can go to your organizational page and see it. There's a tab on the left and you should be able to see it live.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
You have to unpick
There's an edit mode button that you can just shut off and it'll pretty much show you what you'll see.
the, okay.
Because otherwise, if you try to go to your organization page and you're still logged in, it will just take you back to like
Yeah,
the dashboard.
Okay, so yeah, everything else, so this, yeah, it's the same pretty much then. Okay. Thanks.
Here's the media section. You can add images from your computer. You can also import from Dropbox, Google Drive, and more. You can do videos. You can do any of that kind of stuff with the media gallery as well. That like we just covered as well in other places. Okay, this is super important. This is the checkout flow. So this is basically the flow that's going to happen when a donor donates to your organization and what they're going to see and what they're going to get when they check out. So the checkout flow, you need to be able to choose what donor data you want to collect. You're going to use custom donation suggestions to reinforce impact. And then you can preview the donor checkout flow. So on here, like they've chosen 50, 100, 250, and 500. There's also custom, but you can, all those blue highlights mean that you can change them. But on the bottom is this part that you want to, the donor information that you want to gather when they do check out. So if there's a specified question that you need asked for checkout, you can put it in there.
So this is really important. For new organizations, we really encourage you to go in here and populate these buttons, right? These suggested donation level buttons to whatever feels right for your organization. But more donors will hit on a suggested button than if it's just blank and they have to fill in a number. So it's a psychological trick, right? To be like, oh, I was gonna give $25, but there's a $30 option. Okay, I'm gonna just hit $30. So whatever levels feel comfortable for your organization, and that's a very specific conversation amongst your organization, thinking about your donor pool, that kind of thing. But we do really recommend that you make sure you do populate the buttons with some level options.
Are you limited to 4?
5.
5.
Oh, and the custom is 5?
6. So there's 5 boxes at the top,
You can't see it.
Oh, I can see.
and then the
Oh,
custom.
okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see. Okay, great, thank you.
But you could also choose just 4. can choose 3.
No.
Yeah, however many you want.
So whatever feels right about the levels for your organization, but we do really encourage that you put some of the pre-populated level buttons and not just, otherwise it will just revert to the donation amount that they fill in. And frankly, when donors are making donations to, especially on Gives Day, maybe they have several organizations in their cart that they're checking out with, making donations to, it's really easy for them if they can just hit that button, right? So.
These are the post-checkout customizations. When you get a donor that does donate and they go to checkout, they're gonna get a thank you for donating. We suggest that you go in and you edit that. Make it personal, make it impactful. Let them know that what they did was really, really important to them. So you're gonna build out a thank you page with photos and videos and customizable. You're gonna add and update your custom message, and then I need you to preview what that looks like to make sure that you're good with what they're gonna get sent at every checkout. Every donor's gonna get that.
So this is where we would recommend, a question came up during the kickoff meeting about like, if a donor has donated, does that mean we can automatically add them to our contact list or our distribution list for our organization? So the answer to that is no, you have to ask them. There isn't a mechanism in the platform for them to like automatically say, add me to your contact list. So we recommend that in your thank you, this is a great place to put something like, if you'd like to learn more about the work we do year-round and want to join our contact list, click here, right? And so then you can embed a link that you would put your link in there to collect their information. Yes, they said yes to join your contact list. So we suggest you do that through the thank you. Otherwise, you're not really supposed to just then transfer them all batter up into your regular distribution list.
Could we also add a link to our Facebook or social media so that they follow us?
Sure,
And
yeah,
you could do that in that
Sure.
message, okay.
yeah, absolutely.
And also to your question too, anytime that there is gonna be a character limit, they do add that information at the bottom of the page. So if you get to that page and there is a count at the bottom, then there was a limit to what you can put in that
Gotcha,
box.
thanks.
The learn more button at the bottom, can that just send it to our website then?
Yeah,
Is
so
that-
you would have to drop your link in there, right? So it could be the learn more, and maybe it's gonna link directly to your, yes, I'd like to join your distribution list, or whatever, however you wanna look at it, or think about that, but this is the place to kind of do that.
In the last slide, could they put a question here that says, would you like us to email you more information? And they could write yes or no on the checkout? That's
You could.
a
Oh, that's a
possibility
good idea.
too.
You could do that also, and you could do it in both places, just depending on how you want it to look. It doesn't hurt to ask more than once, because people might miss it here and there.
Can you just say the opposite, like if you don't want our newsletter, unsubscribe?
No, because they haven't subscribed yet,
Oh,
so,
so it's not automatically assumed,
correct.
okay, too bad.
All right. Reports. So admins are going to receive an email notification when a donation is made, so you'll get that notification. And then you'll have access to the donor data in the report section in real time, and you can download detailed reports here under the report section.
So what donor data can we download? What is included? Name, address, all their, so we can send them, if we normally send out hard copy letters, thank yous, we can do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so if you are a returning organization, say you're just new to organizing the campaign for that organization this year, but they've participated before, there will be historical information, donor data already in your profile. If you're brand new and this is your first year, the reports are going to be populated with all of the information that is collected this year on this Coastside Gives season. So you have in your donation reports, when you go there, you can Yeah. Yeah, you wanna go to the next slide? So when you're pulling up reports, you have a number of filters that you will be available to you for how you want to see information in the report. So you can pull a report, you have the ability to change the time period, right? So if you say for some reason you want to see a report only pulling information on early giving, you just want to see the donors who donated to you from April 1st till the end of the month. You can adjust the date range for the report. You can also search the report. If you were looking for a specific donor, you could put the donor name in that search where the little hourglass is or the spyglass is. You can put the donor name there to pull up the information specifically about that donor. You can filter it to show you online donations, offline donations, a combination of both. And then you have the ability to download the report up there in the right-hand corner. That will download the report into an Excel spreadsheet, which will show you all of the information. It will show the donor's name, it will show their email contact, it will show their address. Some organizations do electronic thank yous, but then might also send out a hard copy thank you in the mail. So all of that information will be available there for you. And the information will be retained year over year. So you can export all of this information and then use it if you have a regular donor database that your organization uses throughout the rest of the year. But it will also be retained here in future years for you all to be able to access.
Any questions on that?
Can I go back to a donor question? So is the only place you can make a donation on the site through an individual organization? You have to go into, like, where the village is, you'd have to go there to make a donation, that's the only place?
So yes, you would be
Okay.
making a donation through the organization's page or through a fundraising page that might be connected to the organization.
Okay.
So yes. There would be, in the past, and we will do this again this year, we send out or Mavericks Community Foundation, and we do it in conjunction with Mighty Cause, is as we're getting into Gives Day, we send out Give Again emails, and you all may have received those if you've donated to Coastside Gives in the past, right? It's an email that goes out to everybody who donated last year, and it says, hey, Coastside Gives is happening again. Here's a Give Again link. It makes it really easy. It lands in their email inbox of, here are all the organizations you donated to last year. Would you like to repeat these organizations? And they can click a button and add those to their cart automatically. Then it will also prompt them to look for new organizations, right? To check out who might be new to Coastside Gives this year. So we will send those emails out. We call them Give Again emails. We will send them out. We usually send 1 or 2 out when early giving opens. And then we will send them out again close to Gives Day. So that would be another place where donors could potentially donate. But really it's bringing them back to the Coastside Gives website. They're just hitting a button and then all of those same things are automatically going into their cart again.
So if you wanted to give to 3 organizations, you would go into their page, donate, and then go into another page and donate?
They get added to your cart, so then it's only
Okay.
one checkout for you.
And then it's one thing at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's like shopping.
Shopping, I love
Yeah,
shopping.
exactly.
I think I remember you can filter, so if you are wanting to donate and you don't really know the organizations, you can filter, you could do like education or food insecurity, is it still
Yes.
like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So when a donor visits coastsidegives.org, they have the ability to view all of the organizations that are participating, and then they have some options for filtering also. So they might say, look, I'm interested in seeing organizations that are connected to youth services, right? And they can filter by youth services, and then all of those organizations would populate for them. Sometimes they might say, I would like to see organizations that have a match connected to them, and they can filter by that. So those are just ways that donors can move through the website when they're looking at organizations to potentially donate to. But yes, they can add multiple donations into their cart and then just do checkout at once. They absolutely could do it individually too if they wanted to for some reason, but mostly we see people adding things to their cart and then doing a single checkout.
Okay, so in the settings tab, that is where you're going to be able to add or remove admins, update any legal addresses, customize social and URL, and then enter in your disbursement settings. And the disbursement is the money coming back to you guys, so that'd be bank account stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, the disbursement setting is going to be a really important one. If you're brand new to Coastside Gives, you want to go in here to your settings and look at the disbursement settings. You have a choice to receive your donor disbursements either by electronic fund transfer or by hard copy check. So it will automatically default to hard copy check unless you opt into electronic fund transfer. And if you choose to opt into electronic fund transfer, it will walk you through the information that you need to provide to have that set up. So we definitely encourage that you do that, and you'll get reminders from us. You definitely want to make sure that your disbursement settings are updated before early giving opens. And just a note, if you are opting into electronic fund transfer, once you add the information, you will have to submit a little bit of documentation, so it will take a day or two for that to be fully connected. So if you're going to opt into EFT, don't wait until the day before early giving opens, because there will be a little bit of time for the system to process it and make sure it's all set up the way it needs to be.
This is the Coastside Gives 2026 landing page. So if you just put in Coastside Gives 2026, this is the page that it'll take you to. Not 2026, Coastside Gives, this is the page it'll take you to. At the top, there's a couple headings. If you guys are not familiar with it, there's a nonprofit resource tab. And on that tab, as you can see, it has information about eligibility, compliance, the timeline, which will have all the dates for all the meetings, the toolkit, and any facts, any questions that have been brought up that we've posted.
So again, any questions that you have about your profile, about Coastside Gives, about upcoming meetings, anything, please email Brianne. We're here to help. If it is something that is like above our pay grade and what we can do on the platform, then we will connect you to Mighty Cause support. So either way, we can help you figure out whatever you need to figure out. A couple other pieces just about compliance. So this is important, especially if you guys are new organizations to participating in Coastside Gives this year. A couple of years ago, the state of California enacted a piece of legislation called AB 488 that we are required to follow. It regulates online fundraising. It was originally put in place to sort of regulate big guys like PayPal and Facebook and the fundraising that happens on those platforms, but little guys got swept into it. So for us, that means that we are tasked with making sure that every organization participating in Coastside Gives maintains good standing and is in good compliance with the IRS, the California Franchise Tax Board, and the California Department of Justice. We have to check status for every organization every 2 weeks for the entire life of the campaign. If at any time you fall out of compliance with any one of these organizations, we have to hide you on the platform. You can no longer be publicly visible, and we have to hold your donations until such time that you become compliant again. So make sure you stay compliant. If for some reason you fall out of compliance, we are going to tell you because we are checking regularly. So just a piece to remember, I will say for organizations in general, the one that we see organizations, and it's not just us, this is the case with Giving Days across the state that we're in contact with, the one that we see organizations fall out of compliance with the most is the Department of Justice. So the way to remember this Department of Justice one the best is to make sure that it is part of your annual tax filings. The DOJ is not great at reminding people when your registration is due, but you have to renew it annually. And if you make it part of your annual tax filing, that's one of the best ways to do it. What I will also say about the DOJ's platform is they are picky. We know of organizations who sent in their registration payment and the check was made out for $5 more than it needed to be, and the DOJ put them into non-compliant status. They're not super forgiving. So just keep an eye on these things, and we will be keeping an eye on it too, but it's just a good reminder. And then of course, as Brianne said, all of the upcoming important dates are always on the timeline on the website. But from here, our next session will be the Tips and Tricks panel, which will be March 4th. That will be here. That's another optional meeting. During that meeting, we have other organizations who have participated in Coastside Gives in the past share some information about how they approach their campaigns. Can be super helpful to hear what other organizations have done or have tried and see what might be a good fit for your organization to pick up and try. I think one of the main things for us in Coastside Gives is we really think about it as being a collaborative effort. If you are looking at somebody's profile and you're like, wow, this looks really cool, how did you guys do that? Ask us or ask them, right? The organizations are more than happy to network and support each other. That's what this is all about. We think about it as a rising tide lifting all boats, and that's how we approach it, and that's part of what the Tips and Tricks panel will be about. Prize meeting, March 25th. Early giving will open on April 1st, and then of course Gives Day and the wrap party will be on May 8th, which we encourage everybody to attend. We will be sending out more information about that when the details are finalized, along with an RSVP link for it. So, I think that's it, but we are happy to continue answering questions about platform-related items or other Coastside Gives-related items. Any other questions you guys have in this space, we're happy to answer. Yeah.
How about signage? Do you guys still buy signage?
That's a great question about signage. So we generally provide yard signs, posters, and there will be an option for you guys to grab banners. We usually provide those at the mandatory prize meeting. We'll have them available for people to pick up on their way out of the meeting. So.
Do you guys still do the New Leaf?
Yes, so we will be back at New Leaf. So we do our New Leaf giving table every year. We have a table and a ticker set up at New Leaf. We're usually there from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We will be there. We accept donations in person that day. And we often have a sign up for organizations to sign up and help volunteer at the New Leaf giving table. So similar to the KHMB radio sign up, when we get a little closer to that time, we will send out the information for that to you guys with links on how you sign up to participate in those things.
In terms of a quote deadline for the website, I'm assuming that that's when early giving, is that when the?
So, I mean, there is no deadline, right? You can edit it all the way through Gives Day. What we would recommend though is right now, traffic is light on the Coastside Gives website. So now is the time to really be thinking about editing and building up your profile. Certainly you want it ready to go by the time early giving opens on April 1st, because that's when donations and donors will have the ability to start coming through. And as we get closer to April 1st, that's when we will also be ramping up our publicity of donations being open. And when you guys should be, letting your donors know, hey, early giving is coming. We're gonna be able to start accepting donations, in 2 weeks or whatever that looks like. So now's a great time to edit and play around. I would say, by early giving, have your profile pretty much the way you want it, but just know that you can continue to edit it, right? So if something changes or you get a great new photo or, whatever that looks like, you can edit it all the way through Gives Day.
Is there a percentage taken from Mavericks or Mighty Cause from each donation, and what is it?
So the donor fees, they are on the website. It's the same fees as last year, the 6.5%. If you go to coastsidegives.org, you can click on the fees and you can see the entire breakdown of exactly what's included in that.
And you have a button for cover the fees, right?
Yes. So there's always an option for donors to cover the fees. Last year, something like just under 90% of donor fees were covered by the donors. That has always been the case for Coastside Gives. We're very fortunate. We have a very generous community, and we have a very high rate of donors that cover the fees. We see it's significantly higher than what we see in other giving days that we're in contact with around the state and around the country. So we really have a very generous donor base within our community.
Any questions?
Okay. Well, if you think of questions, email, or we will still be here for a little while.